We begin with this prospect of potentially the United States hitting Iran. And then what certain independent reporting and critics argue is a kind of unserious or at times even circus or reality show atmosphere surrounding one of the most important decisions a president can make. And while Donald Trump has certainly changed the artifice and the traditions of national leadership in the presidency in ways that sometimes his supporters love and ways other people criticize, this is distinct when we talk about whether or not we would strike in that region or do things that make it more likely that we have a U.S.-involved war or regional war. Now, today, the White House made some news by saying that Donald Trump, the president, is mulling whether to strike Iran, and he will make that decision within 2 weeks. Now, on the ground, we know that overnight Iran has done a bombing campaign that hit this Israeli hospital, injuring over 240 people. You can see the visuals there, Israel's health ministry discussing the damage. Israel, though, also continuing its attacks, and it started what it said was a necessary strike to deal with alleged nuclear capabilities, but it started the most recent volleys back and forth. Meantime, Trump is also clashing with some of his own cabinet officials, the people he picked to do the intelligence and military planning, but in the sort of freewheeling atmosphere of this administration, remember, where 1 month Elon Musk is a super employee kind of overseeing the whole cabinet, the next month he's gone. Well, likewise, some of the people that Trump said were kind of going to run things this year may not be. Washington Post reporting that neither Intelligence Chief Gabbard nor Pentagon Chief Hegseth are really in starring roles right now on the inner circle of advisors on issues that, of course, involve intelligence and the entire military overseen by Hegseth. Quote, nobody is talking to Hegseth, says one official. And by the way, as a procedural matter, it's concerning. If you don't want war with Iran, maybe you think it's a positive because you do want someone like him iced out. Now, I should tell you the Pentagon is objecting to this entire set of reporting. They say it's completely false. Trump also reportedly influenced by the more hawkish or bellicose on-air content in Fox News, according to one report in Rolling Stone, where hosts, guests, and commentators are effusively pro-war and pro-regime change in their messaging. Bigger picture, though, and this has always been an interesting thing, for all of the criticism of Donald Trump's desire to flex with military power, to use the military in the United States, something we've been covering over the last 2 weeks, and generally to play what he calls a kind of tough or macho card, he is someone who, like some of the other more recent figures in the conservative space, like Tucker Carlson, has vocally been opposed to what they view as the Bush-era expansive kind of over-involved role in 2 wars in the Middle East. And so you have that, but then you still have the Fox programming and other loud voices that want to be sort of automatically, quote, tough, even if it means risking a new regional war that very few people seem to want. And so what we're witnessing in real time on a big, high-stakes issue is an Iran debate that is roiling MAGA.
The Bush-era doctrine of regime change wars in the Middle East is foolish. It's costly.
Be all in, President Trump, in helping Israel eliminate the nuclear threat.
The same crowd at Fox all weekend has been sounding the war toxins.
I'm a warmonger because I think that these 7th century primitive barbarians with 21st century technology should be removed.
No, this is not America first. War is not America first.
I'm not one that wants to get involved in things. I'm not. But we have no choice. They are our enemy.
And so you can see with some of the newer voices how it goes back and forth. And by the way, if you believe in open and free debate, First Amendment rights, some of the things that Donald Trump, when it comes to other stories, is, of course, against, and he's not been supporting everyone's dissent, certainly not in colleges. But if you believe in that kind of thing, it is positive, and shout out to any of the platforms that are supporting a freewheeling open debate. Sometimes in the run-up to military action, let alone war, we haven't had that in this country.
So NBC News has now confirmed that the big jet parked here on the tarmac in this footage from February is the exact same plane that President Donald Trump plans to accept as a gift from the nation of Qatar. This is that plane at Palm Beach International Airport in Florida. According to NBC News, this same plane, it's a Boeing 747, it's now parked at a different U.S. airport. This was it in Florida in February. Apparently, it's now been in San Antonio since April. for some reason. If Democrats in Congress don't shame him out of accepting it, that jet from Qatar will become the latest and most flight-worthy in a series of very, 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 very valuable presents that President Trump and his family and his businesses have received from Qatar since he first became president. For example, in Qatar, there's the new plan for a Trump International Golf Club and Trump Villas. The plan for that was just signed last month, thanks to the understanding and generosity of the Qatari government. You may also remember the bailout that Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner's company got in the first Trump term for their boondoggle office tower in Manhattan. That was from a company tied to Qatar. Qatari officials denied any involvement in the deal at the time. But there was no denying the capital B billions poured into Jared Kushner's brand new investment firm that he set up just after he left the White House after Trump's first term. Billions of dollars to Jared from not only the government of Qatar, but also the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia. Speaking of Saudi Arabia, Trump's company is also developing a new $500 million Saudi Trump Tower in the city of Jeddah, thanks to the kindness and generosity of the Saudi government. In United Arab Emirates, the Trump organization is now planning another billion-dollar tower, thanks again to the kindness and generosity of the Emirati government. That new Emirati Trump Tower project was announced last month at a crypto conference in Dubai, where it was also announced that a fund backed by the United Arab Emirates would use Trump's new cryptocurrency to finance a major crypto deal, which would mean they will be putting, directly into the Trump family's pockets, many, many, many millions of dollars. But these are just the presents for Trump that we know about. I mean, it's worth remembering from the end of his first term that Trump left office without ever providing the legally required list of gifts that he and other White House officials received from foreign governments while he was president. When Trump got back into the White House to start his second term, he started day one with eliminating the federal ban on receiving gifts from lobbyists. Literally on his first day back in office, he made time to end the ban on federal officials receiving gifts from lobbyists. Day one. Because everybody knows it's gifts for public officials from lobbyists that will make America great again. So yes, Donald Trump or his library will be getting a luxury plane from a foreign country.
So President Trump is now facing bipartisan backlash for his plans to accept that luxury jet as a gift from the Qatari royal family. In a rare public break from the Trump administration, some of Trump's most vocal and loyal supporters in right-wing media are also now criticizing him, calling this move a stain on his administration even. CNN's Brian Stelter is tracking this one for us. And Brian, what are you seeing?
This is the biggest break that I've seen in the first 4 months of Trump's return to office, between his pro-Trump propaganda machine, those pro-Trump stars that are always supporting him, and the president. This is a dramatic break, not among every single MAGA media star out there, but among many of them. It's one thing for Democratic lawmakers to be calling this profoundly unethical and possibly illegal. We've heard a lot of that. But some MAGA media commentators are saying the same things. In the past 24 hours, we've heard prominent pro-Trump media stars call this plan to accept a jet from Qatar to use as Air Force One a, quote, bribe, a grift, and a stain on the administration. And this is even coming from figures like Laura Loomer, of the far-right provocateur, who has a direct line to Trump. I mean, these are people who are usually steadfast supporters of the president, but in this case, they're speaking out against the deal. Let me show you two examples. One is from Ben Shapiro, who co-founded the Daily Wire. He's a prominent podcaster. The other is Eric Erickson, the radio talk show host.
That's not America first. Like, please define America first in a way that says you should take sacks of cash from the Qatari royals who are behind Al Jazeera. It just isn't America first in any conceivable way. If you want President Trump to succeed, this kind of skeezy stuff needs to stop.
My problem with taking this plane from Qatar is I do not think the President of the United States of America should sit and fly on a plane purchased with the same money used to murder American citizens.
We brought a quote directly from the president saying, and I'm paraphrasing, but hardly here, based on the fact that there is a substantial chance of negotiation. He says he's going to make a decision about what to do here in the next 2 weeks. We do just need to be clear here. That would ordinarily be quite a deadline. But the president says 2 weeks all of the time. It's really this kind of verbal crutch that he uses that he often doesn't mean. So it's hard to know exactly what he means here. He's used this recently when he's talking about Ukraine, what to do about Ukraine and Putin. It's going to be in 2 weeks, all the way back to the beginning of his term, whether it was a healthcare plan to replace Obamacare or it was his infrastructure plan. Most of these 2-week promises never happen. Some of them do, but not within 2 or sometimes the 2 to 3 weeks, as he will sometimes say. He makes a lot of these fortnight references. And so this is really tricky as we try to parse this.
Yeah, I think one of the first times I heard him say that we should wait and see within 2 weeks was when he was talking about Barack Obama's birth certificate, which never came to fruition. Obviously, the birther lie that he espoused before ultimately running for president.
From my perspective, you can't disconnect these two MAGA civil wars. The one that first started, which was Trump and the Qatar plane. And he's lost that debate, right? People don't like it, right? People don't like that he wants that plane. So he's lost on that debate. And that divided MAGA, because some MAGA, of course, they're just like, oh, Trump, the God Emperor can have whatever he wants. And then other people were like, well, I think this is pretty bad. One, it's like, why aren't you buying an American plane or, getting an American plane? This is bad for our industry. And some are like, why are we groveling to get free airplanes from other countries? And what about national security and the country you're getting it from as human rights abuse? All of this. There was MAGA was civil warring over that. And you're seeing it again with Iran. Right? You're seeing it again where some people, the Lindsey Graham types MAGAs, are like, oh, I just want to see war please, Donald, just one more war, please, Donald. Donald, just give me one more, just a little bit of war as a treat. And then you have other parts of MAGA who, again, often for like really racist reasons, I want to make that clear, but nonetheless, I think are, even for the wrong reasons, more correct, saying, no, we don't need this war. This is insane. The country that we back, Israel, is the aggressor here. They are the ones that are itching for conflict. We need to stand back. We need to push for peace, and we need to not, get involved in another Iraq, another Afghanistan, right? Right? Like, let's be clear about that. And this is dividing Trump. And so what his whole movement has been torn asunder on, in many ways, is his foreign policy approach. And because, one, Donald has been uncertain in how he's been talking. So that, because it's driven by self-interest. And I think a lot of MAGA people are sick and tired of it a little bit, right? It's like prices haven't gone down, their lives haven't gotten better, and yet Donald's getting a free plane, right? And also, Trump's buddies in Israel are going to build luxury resorts, right, on stolen land. How does that benefit a MAGA voter from West Virginia? The answer is it doesn't.